What's going on, guys? I consider myself a jack of all trades, but my name's Jeff, so welcome back to Jeff of All Trades. Today, we're finally doing the side-by-side comparison of the Beretta 92FS versus the Beretta M9A4. So I already did a video on this weapon. I did one on the 92FS as well, how to take it down, do some oil points cleaning. Got this one here. I want to go over some of the pros, some of the cons of it, which, believe it or not, there's a few things I don't particularly like about it. And then we'll go over to the 92FS and just kind of compare and contrast them, put them side by side, take them apart, and go through some of those details. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. Again, it's just my opinion of which one I think you should go for. If you should upgrade if you have the 92FS, or if you should go out and choose this one over the 92FS. So let's put these both down on the table and get right into it. All right, so just getting right into it, you got the Beretta 92FS and then the Beretta M9A4. So first thing I'm going to do, take them both apart. Let's blow them up and see if the internals look the same. All right, so what we're looking at now is blown up of both of them. So you got pretty much the same thing here, right? You got your frames, both look the same when it comes to the mechanism of the guns, right? So got everything here, your takedown, your slide lock, mag release. The internals are damn near identical. There's a few small changes that we'll get into when we look at the outside of the gun, such as the magazine release and stuff like that, but all in all, the weapon is the same on the outside. This has screws, this head has Allen screws here. These are, flathead. All in all the same. This, you have your spring and guide rod here. Spring and guide rod for this one. I did upgrade the 92FS for a metal guide rod. I recommend that for either of these guns to get the metal one. This one still has a plastic one. When you look in length, the spring on the 92FS is a little bit shorter. I don't remember if when I bought the guide rod it came with a new spring. That's probably what the difference is, but it still functions perfectly fine. So if we move on to the next part, you're looking at the barrels. Now, barrels are the same functionality. Essentially, the M9A4 is an upgrade to the 92FS. So the purpose of this video is what was upgraded, why, and if it's worth $1,000 price tag. So obviously, normal barrel, normal threading. Everything looks fine with the everything looks good with the 92FS. The biggest upgrade on this is we finally have a threaded barrel, which is fantastic. You can get aftermarket. I'm not a huge fan of aftermarket when it comes to barrels and stuff like that, just because I feel like if the same company makes it that's putting it on my gun, it's going to be a perfect exact fit. So this is great. It does come with this gasket here if you're going to put a suppressor on to make sure, or a compensator. It also comes with more seals in the box, which is really, really nice. But that's a very, very big upgrade on this, is the threaded barrel. So already, that's one of my biggest things for any gun, having a threaded barrel, even if you're not going to use it. For this one, for example, I don't have anything on here. I don't use it, but I have it, right? If I want to put a compensator, if I want to put my suppressor on here, then I can. And that's a really nice option instead of going out and spending probably $200 on a new barrel for the 92FS. Now for the slides, really big difference with the slides too. There's a few of them, so I'm going to go through them with you here. The 92FS, the serrations here, pretty weak. It is an older gun with a lot more use, but you're not going to wear that out. Pretty bad serrations, if I'm being honest with you. When I rack this back, first of all, if you do it from the front, you have these kind of, call it a bevel that you can hold on to and pull back, which you can get really good leverage with. But if you're pulling from here, you end up sliding back and pulling from the safety when you rack this gun. At least I find myself too. So the serrations on it are pretty bad. It is not MOS ready. You can't really put a red dot sight on this gun. And then it has your safety, which is also a decocker. but if you don't want it to just be a decocker, it will stay with safe on. So when you're ready to fire, thumb motion forward and you're ready to fire. So I really like that. That's one of the benefits of this. We'll get into the M9A4. The serrations, there's front and rear serrations on it, and they are, it's hard to tell in the video, but they are great. They are a lot deeper. They're a lot better. It's easier to use. Instead of having to pull from the front so close to the barrel, you can grab here and get some really good leverage with it to rack the gun. It is red dot ready, which we'll get to once we put these things back together, but you can put a red dot on this. And then your safety, technically it's not a safety. Again, we'll go over that once we put the guns back together. But if you look, when you push this down, it does not stay down. No, your gun is not broken, everything is fine. This is simply a decocker. It is not a safety switch. So we will talk about that once we put these guns back together, which will be right now. All right, so now the outside comparison. This one definitely looks better, looks more aggressive. Let's go over the 92 first, and then we're going to get into the M9A4 because there's a lot more to talk to. There's a lot more to talk about with this gun than there is with this one. So let's go over the 92 first. They're both 9mm. They actually, I mean, they're the exact same frame of the gun. This is for the M9, and the magazine fits in there. It's fine. It shoots. It's the same exact frame of the gun. The internals may be a little bit different on them, but I believe they're the same. Biggest thing they did with the other one is just the outside upgrades. So this has your decocker on it, which means if you push this down into safe mode, it will safely put the hammer in the front position and decock your trigger there. You pull the trigger, it acts as a safety because it stays in that down position, which means if you pull the trigger right now, the hammer will not move. If the hammer doesn't move, the gun doesn't go bang. If you want the hammer to move in double action, you have to turn the safety off, which I'll show you. It's cleared, nothing in the barrel, nothing in the magazine. But if you pull the trigger, it forms a double action for the hammer. After the first shot goes through the gun, hammer stays back for future rounds and it becomes a single action. So this can be shot like that, safety's on, it will not shoot. The takedown is the same on both guns. The slide lock is also the same on both guns. This grip, I don't mind it personally. It's a fine grip. The texture is not as slippery as some of the other guns, but definitely not abrasive as some of the other ones as well. This side, perfectly fine. We talked about the serrations. As you just saw there, when I racked the gun, it's very difficult for me to hold here. Yes, I'm wearing gloves right now, but it's difficult to hold here to rack the gun. You really have to put some tension on it because these are so slippery. They're not cut very deep. So what I typically do, if it's safe, I just grab the safety, rack the gun, and I'm good to go. I would like to be able to rack it from up here, especially for if I'm doing any chamber checks to see if there's anything in the chamber. I typically grab at the front here because this is not really an option. It slides way too much to be able to do that. So I would like some serrations at the front. Not red dot ready. What you get is what you get. You got your iron sights here. They are not night sights. They are just your typical iron sights with painted white on both the front and the back. Barrel, it's a fine barrel. It's a Beretta barrel. Can't really go wrong with it. I do love Beretta. Not threaded. And obviously no accessory rail or anything on the bottom. What you get is what you get. This is your classic police or military gun. It does what a gun's supposed to do. It definitely does what a gun's supposed to do. So 15 rounds for this one, for the state that I'm in. 15 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Can't really ask for more than that. Does what a gun's supposed to do. It is one of my favorite guns. It's the first gun that I ever bought, so maybe I'm a little biased toward it, but I do love this gun. Love the full metal frame, love the metal slide. At the end of this video, if you get anything out of it and you're looking for a new gun to buy a Beretta. I would recommend the 92FS if you don't want to spend the extra money for the M9, but either way, if you're watching this video, go buy a Beretta. You will not be disappointed. This thing is definitely not a Glock. It's exactly what a gun should be. So that's about it with this. Not really much more to talk about. So with this, we have the M9A4 Beretta, and first of all, it's gorgeous. I mean, you just take a minute and look at this gun. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see a few changes right off the bat that I want to get into. Change number one is the addition of an accessory rail. You want to put a laser on here, a light on it, anything like that, has an accessory rail, which is a great addition to the gun. Also has those front serrations in the front that I was talking about. Back serrations are also strong enough that I can easily pull just by holding here, and there's no issue with it whatsoever. These serrations are much deeper, much more aggressive. The front serrations, if you're doing a chamber check, very easy to grab here and pull back. And I'm doing it with 2 fingers. It's very, very easy. It's very nice. Love having the front serrations. I love having the back serrations. I love having them be as deep as they are. So great addition to the slide. Keeping on the slide, it is red dot ready. Now, my issue with this is nothing came in the box to make this fully red dot ready. So this gun, we ended up getting it for a really good deal, got it for $1,000. MSRP on it is anywhere from $1,100 to $1,200, depending where you go, who you get it from. So this is a very expensive gun. This is a very high-end gun, at least for the price tag. At that price point, it would have been nice if they would have thrown in the plates that were needed for the different footprints. So I actually looked this up online. You have different Beretta plates you can buy for different footprints. That's understandable because a shield sight is not going to fit the same as a Holosun, as a Vortex. So you will need a different plate. But my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 actually is MOS ready, and it comes with all the different plates and footprints. So I know this plate has to be different because it has to go around this top here. It's not the same as a Glock or a Smith & Wesson where it's a flat slide. But it's a little annoying that you spend $1,100 maybe just because you want to have that red dot ready, and you have to go out and buy something else after you already spent $1,100, $1,000, $1,200 on a gun. So that is a little bit disappointing. Not too happy with Beretta on that. It seems like they put all their money into that ammo case that they put this in instead of just adding a few plates. So a little disappointed with that. Onto the barrel. It is the same exact size as the Beretta 92FS, but as we went over, it does come with a threaded barrel, which is a really cool accessory. I feel like compensators and suppressors are more popular now than they ever have been. So having a threaded barrel on this so you can add whatever you want to it is a really, really nice addition. Staying on this side of the gun, it's this grip. You can kind of hear it with my glove here. You can see the hard serrations on the front with that waffle cut pattern, as well as on the back, that waffle cut pattern. If we go to the Beretta 92, it is just a straight line on both for the front as well. So again, I've never had issues with this. I do have issues with this. I'm not a fan of the aggressive stippling on this. I could see after shooting it for a while, if I'm not wearing gloves, that it would bother my hand. I don't know if I said that in the original video or not. I think I said that with the CZ that I did a video on, because CZ has a very aggressive grip. Now, I understand that if you drop this in mud, you can pick it up and you can fire and it won't slide in your hand because of that. But the stippling still affects my hands. So it's not very comfortable. The gun is definitely going to stay in place, but it's a little too aggressive for my liking. I can understand why that would be beneficial to a lot of people, but to me, I'm not really a huge fan of it. Trigger's the same. We already went over that. One of my biggest gripes about this is this safety. It's not a safety. So before everybody roasts me in the comments, I know it's not a safety. This is called a decocker. Same as the other one. So if your hammer is up and you want to safely put it down without pulling the trigger, pull the decocker, hammer goes forward, and you're good to go. But if you watch, it pops right back up, right? So you cannot have this gun in safe mode. Typically, I don't like my guns to have safeties if I'm carrying them. If I'm not carrying them and I'm just going to the range, I don't mind it having a safety, and this one does not have one. It's simply a decocker. The last thing I want to talk about with this is the iron sights. It does have night sights on them. I just did a video with the night sights for dove mounts that they now have available with their kit. But these ones are night sight ready, which is really nice. I do like these iron sights a lot more than the other iron sights on the 92FS, just because I can see them better in any condition, and it's not just white painted on. I mean, they glow in the dark. I got a lot of lights on in here, but they glow in the dark, and they're fantastic sights.
So one thing I did want to mention here that I didn't mention in the review, so we're going to take a pause, just comment it here, is the difference in the magazine release. So this magazine release is much more protruded from the gun itself. If I can have that focus on there, you can see how much further out that sticks from the gun, and it's much easier to press that to get your magazine out compared to the 92 FS, which is much closer to the frame itself. It's still not difficult to hit, but it definitely is not as protruded as the M9A4. So I did want to point that out. Let's get back to the video.
So, my opinion, and again, this is strictly my opinion, should you buy the M9A4 or the Beretta 92 FS? Both are phenomenal guns. This one you can pick up for about $700. This one's about $1,100, give or take. You get a lot of benefits with this. The stippling, it is more aggressive. If you're a fan of that, you have your accessory rail in the front. You have your barrel, which is threaded, and it's also red dot MOS ready. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the red dot MOS ready. You have the aggressive stippling on here, which is also really great. The decocker safety, I don't know, to each their own. I'm not a fan of it, but that's probably something very small. When it comes to, and then obviously, the night sights as well, which is also a big upgrade. So you got better stippling, you got your accessory barrel, threaded barrel, better serrations, upgraded iron sights, pretty badass color. If you're going to be buying a Beretta and you have the money, if it's your first one, I highly recommend buying the M9A4. The barrel alone is $250. Red dot, you can't do it on the 92 FS. So having red dot ready on this, you want to buy a new slide, that's going to be $300-400. Accessory rail, you won't be able to get that with this. So if you're looking at a $700 bill or $1,000 for $300 more, I would buy the M9A4. If you already have the 92 FS and you're thinking, I want a new gun, I want to upgrade this, the M9A4 is so much better, I don't think it's worth the upgrade. I think if you're going to spend $1,000 on a gun and you already have a Beretta 92 FS, there's no need to buy the M9A4. It does everything the same. The trigger's the same. The barrel's the same. They're the same exact size. There is no difference with the functionality of the gun. It's just the bonuses you get with the M9A4. Now, if you have the money and you already have this one and you want to continue to buy Berettas and this is the next one in line, go ahead and upgrade to it. But I do feel like if you already have the 92FS, you don't need to waste the money to upgrade to this one. So there you have it. The comparisons of the M9A4 versus the standard Beretta 92FS. Both are fantastic weapons. They're incredible to have. I love the steel frame. I love Beretta. I love this platform of it. Like I said in the video, if you're gonna buy a Beretta for the first time, and you want this to be your first gun or your first Beretta, I wouldn't go with the 92FS. I would definitely spend the extra money and get the M9A4. With that said, if you already have the 92FS and you're just looking to upgrade or buy a new gun, I don't think buying the M9A4 is the right choice. I feel like this has a lot going for it, and if you're going to be spending $1,000 on a gun, you can probably get something that's completely different, that's going to look really nice in your arsenal, that's going to be a conversation piece. If you're buying it for the first time, definitely go with the M9A4. The accessory rail, threaded barrel. If you want to put a red dot sight on it, you can go ahead and do that as well. It's a fantastic weapon. I love both of them, but that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Let me know down below, do you have the 92FS? Do you have the M9A4? Do you have both of them? Which one do you like more? If you're gonna buy one, go ahead and let me know which one you're gonna buy. I hope I helped you with this video. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, be safe. I'll see you in the next one.